Hello, I'm clinical psychologist Shahrzad Jalali, and today I want to bring your attention to the fact that we're becoming very efficient humans, but not very connected ones. And that gap is where a lot of our modern distress is actually initiating from. Everything nowadays is very optimized. Work is optimized, communication is optimized, sleep is tracked, productivity is measured, and even emotional well-being has become something people try to improve systematically through workshops, books, knowledge. They gather the information, but they don't really digest it. So something important gets lost in this process. Human experience was never designed to be efficient. It was designed to be rhythmic. There are natural rises and natural falls in attention, emotion, energy, and even meaning. But modern life doesn't really allow for this rhythm anymore. It pushes for constant continuity. Or at least that's what society, or I should say Western society, values. Stay on, stay responsive, stay available, stay producing, stay reachable at all times. And slowly the nervous system adapts to that demand because it has to, and that's how our brains work. But it becomes hyper alert, always slightly on. Even when you're resting, part of you is still scanning for what you need to do next. Even when you're with people you care about, your loved ones, part of you is still tracking something else, so you're not fully present with them. And this creates a very strange state that many people don't recognize. They try to identify it by giving it different names like burnout, anxiety, or lack of motivation, but underneath it all, there's often something a lot more simpler and deeper: disconnection from your own internal rhythm. Because a nervous system that never fully calms down cannot fully go back up and operate properly either. So even good things stop landing properly. Success doesn't land as well as it used to. Rest doesn't feel restful. Relationships don't fully land. Everything becomes slightly muted. My number one complaint in therapy. And people often assume something is wrong with them psychologically. But sometimes nothing is actually wrong in a clinical sense. It's just overload without integration. Too much input, too little processing time, too little silence, and too little unstructured being. Over time, the system starts to feel very flat. Not dramatic, not chaotic, just flat. And that flatness is what people try to fix by doing more things. More productivity tools, more optimization, more routines, more self-improvement. But the issue was never lack of input. It's lack of integration space, because human beings don't just need stimulation, they need digestion, kind of like our body does. Psychological digestion takes time. Repetition, stillness, and internal space where nothing is being demanded of your system. Without that, life is experienced but not metabolized. And as we know with our bodies, what is not metabolized doesn't just disappear, it accumulates. So when people say, I don't feel like myself anymore, it's not just identity loss, it's system overload without enough quiet space to process what has already been lived. A lot of times people think this is the problem with their marriage. Marriages fall apart because of it. But the truth is, it's not their partner's fault. In reality, the disconnect is with themselves. And in that sense, the modern mental health question is shifting. It's no longer just, what are you feeling? The question is becoming, have you had enough space to actually process what you're feeling? So create that space, make that change, and refuse to continue in the pattern that is making you feel lost. Leave a comment below if this resonates.